Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Around the Table GTA. I just woke up and this episode was inspired by a series of events that's happened in the last 3 weeks. I know couple is two, but in this day and age, all these words are getting changed. A couple could be three, and everything is changing. The wildest thing that I've actually heard recently is someone referred to guys as XYs because they were super triggered about something. And that's just the day and age that we're living in right now. But with that coming to an end, we're going to talk about endings and we're going to talk about fault. I think I'm going to start this season, ironically, with something ending or the term of ending. Like I said, if you guys seen this podcast for a while, heard it, whatever, it was inspired by someone who was actually trying to end their life, and I changed that outcome, just through friendship and advice and sharing hardships, right? And that pushed them to realize that they're not in a situation that's permanent, and it's not 100% their fault for all the things that happens in their life. But after a certain age, that fault is your own fault. So I just let them know that there was a lot of options and I was just there and caring, and things took off. I always wanted to do a podcast, and then after that just pushed me to, like, you know what, just do it. Because realistically, if I did do a podcast prior, maybe a lot more people would know who I am. Maybe I'd be famous, but that's a beginning or end in another universe. But yeah, we're talking about endings, and we just need to realize that there's a beginning and there's an ending, right? It doesn't matter what we do. It doesn't matter how many movies we watch about like immortality and everything. We can't be certain to live on forever. Even if we become cyborgs and stuff, we don't know if the planet's going to explode, or there's going to be a giant asteroid, or solar flares, or some type of Armageddon, or like nuclear war. And all of these terms are ways that things end, so we're just going to keep on with that play of words. Endings aren't always a horrible thing. Recently, I was talking with someone, and it basically came to an end, and it made me realize a lot of things that that person was going through that I didn't realize, that to an extent it was me causing that issue. But at the same time, the lack of communication didn't really help me realize as well too. So even though I'm at fault, at the same time I'm not at fault. But that abrupt ending, it gave me content, but it also, like, I say gave me content, now I feel like Taylor Swift at the start of her career. But it made me realize that there's only so much stuff you can control. There's only so much time that you have, and sometimes when something ends, it's your fault. And some things are really meant to end. Like recently, I've been pretty annoyed at work. I've been pretty annoyed at life in general, but I've been living a really great summer, so I've kind of put the thought of being miserable at the end of my head, to the point where I've just been enjoying life a lot more. But at the same time, I've kind of seen where I've been blurring things so that it's just like, wait, you know what? There's some things that you really need to end, so that not only you can improve yourself, but you can improve your living situations, right? It was funny because I was thinking about a lot of stuff, and like recently I've been very hard in thought. And then I was on Instagram. Obviously, I think 90% of my audience has come from Instagram. And, I'm always posting memes, I'm always sharing stuff. And I was scrolling through things, and I saw this post, and it said that don't ignore the signs that God gives you, right? So it made me think of these times where I was talking with certain people or I was sharing information with friends, and then after they just commented on what I did, and it's just like, are you dumb? They hit me with the, are you dumb? Or, how did you not do anything in that situation? Or, so, you're up 3 points, or you're up a lot of points in the third quarter, and then somehow you drop the ball on the fourth, right? There's certain things that you do that makes things just really mess up for you, and you need to know when you have to put those things to end. But at the same time, not all endings are the same. Not all endings are going to hurt you or dramatically impair you. There's a term that says, for every closed door, another door opens. So sometimes we do need to embrace the end of things. Not saying that I'm going to stop talking to people, or I'm not saying I'm going to quit my job immediately, or I'm not saying that any of you guys should be doing anything like that. And especially if you're thinking about ending your life, there's definitely so much worse that could be happening in your life that you have to take into context that someone would love your life. But even then, everyone has their free choice, but there's a lot of people who do care about you, so you don't want that type of ending. You want a happy ending. I think most people want a happy ending, and then some people want the other type of happy ending, if you know what I mean. But yeah, endings aren't all that there is. And recently I've been doing a lot of self-reflection, even though I'm outside all weekend. This weekend, actually, after this episode, I'm gonna take a power nap and take a shower. I'm gonna head over to a pool party. But either way, there's always much more that you could be doing, and then certain endings actually push you to go further. So recently I've been talking to a lot of people at my old workplace, or people that I've met from my old workplace. I actually recently went there about 3 weeks ago, and I think only 3 people that I actually remember still work there. And I haven't worked in that place yet. I'm going to age myself a little bit, but it's been 9 years. It's been 9 years, because I worked at that place for 4 years, and then I quit, and then I was working here at my current workplace for 7 years. But I know that's not a whole 9 years, but I think it's 9 years since the certain group of people that I was with, we're all kicking it, we're all doing stuff, but certain things there pushed me to end that relationship with that workplace, and it was one of the best decisions of my life. At that time, I was missing all my friends. Even my boss at that time was like, hey, if you ever change your mind, you're such a good worker that you could come back within a year, you'll keep all your seniority, and we're happy to have you back, right? And, even though, like, I went on nights and I was working at another workplace, it really dawned on me that it's just like, wow, I went through all of that. I wanted everything to work out there. I tried my best and pushed to do my best so that, I could move up, or I could be seen in a certain way, or I could get some type of recognition. And despite all my efforts, I got blackballed, I got gaslit. I actually had to go to the union a couple of times just so that I could get more work when I needed more work. But when it was time to improve myself, my workplace didn't care. They didn't want me to pursue like a higher education or even do anything that actually benefited me. So sometimes you could try really hard. You could push to be your best self. You could put 110%, because at that workplace, I did so well that it seemed like I didn't work. And management was bad because it looked like I was always chilling, right? Which wasn't true. Like, I was chilling, but it's because I got the work done so much, like so quickly that, what else am I supposed to do? Right? I already know how to do like five different things at the store and it's dead. I'm gonna talk to people. I'm gonna hang out with my coworkers because I actually like my coworkers. Shout out to the old Metro crew. I know some of you guys still check out this podcast and I really appreciate that. But despite all those connections, and that's certain things that kind of keep us stuck in certain places. We love the people, or we love the atmosphere, or we love the communication. But at the end of the day, it's God giving you these signs where it's like, yeah, you should probably go because of this, or because of this, or because of this, or because of this. I've talked about this story on the podcast, but not really to this extent. But basically, my last straw was like when they hired this person who was just like very, very poor on communication. Like, we don't know how she got hired in the first place, and she basically got a position that I was working towards when she had zero communication skills, and then she was like one of the worst people on cash because she just bug all the customers and talk about some random stuff that like no one really cared about, and it just caused lineups and everybody else had to work more because people were avoiding this lady. And then she got a promotion and I was just like, what the hell? So I got like an abrupt end over there, and it actually propelled my life because sometimes you could put so much effort into one thing, right? It's like when you overwater a flower, right? Certain plants need more or less water, right? So sometimes you're somewhere and you're putting in the work and it's not going to change anything. It's not going to help your outcome. You're going to be stuck with that. There's no growth in that area. So you need to know when something has to come to an end, right? And that even comes with relationships. It comes with friendships, which are also relationships. It comes with work. It's just comes with every part of life. Recently, I ran into someone who I haven't talked to since high school, and it was just like an abrupt thing. Because if anybody who knows me, if you go outside with me, we're gonna run into someone. It's like one of my universe powers. That's what me and my friends call it, like me and the table. Shout out to the table. Everyone has like a universe power, and that's one of my universe powers. Is just that I tend to run into people. Like I think the craziest one was there's this shopkeeper who's at the mall that's near to my house, and when I was coming back from Africa, and I was on like a layaway. I was in like I think I was like in Denmark. I was somewhere in Europe, basically. And while I was trying to catch another flight, I ran into this dude, and I haven't seen the dude in like 4 months. And it's just like, how am I running into you like across the world when I haven't seen you in the same city for like months? But it's just part of your universe powers. But anyways, you have to remember that everything's not your fault, and sometimes things don't happen for a reason. Like I'm gonna go back to how I was talking with someone. So basically, I was talking with someone, and work kept me so busy that we couldn't link up. And at the point where we were supposed to link up, I kind of like got ghosted. So I was just like, oh damn, that kind of sucks. And then I ended up talking to them recently, and then they were thinking that like, oh, I was making them wait and this and this and that. But life got just really busy for me. Like, imagine meeting someone, and then after things seem okay, then your cousin dies, and then like you're a little bit depressed, and then COVID hits you, and you're just hating job and you're hating your life, right? So sometimes certain things don't happen, and that's not on you, right? Things just happen. You can't always feel like you're at fault for the things that happen, but even then, it depends what your belief is. Like, not everything is in our control. We do have free will, but there's certain things that uh, aren't going to happen as hard as you try because it's not meant for you. People have to remember that. Some people are in like toxic relationships for like years or even decades. And as soon as they leave that relationship, they meet the love of their life. And they realize, wow, I wasted so much time trying to make this work or try to make this happen or trying to please someone. Um, and sometimes that's what ends ourselves. And I'm not saying like end in any type of way where like you're offing yourself, but it ends yourself in the sense that you don't become or you stop being the person that you are, right? You become some type of persona of something that you think people want you to be. And this happens in all aspects of life. I saw this one video that was talking about like YouTubers as well, where certain YouTubers, if you watch them at the start of their YouTube career and at the end of their YouTube career, or how they are currently, a lot of the content changes because they focus a little bit too much on what the audience wants. So when you focus on what the audience wants, sometimes you kind of lose yourself. And that's the same thing where whether it's in school you want to be that perfect student, or at home you're trying to be the best kid or sibling, or even as a parent or uncle or whatever, you want to be the best parent, so you smother your children, or you're the cool wine aunt, so you're always projecting how much you love everybody. But is that truly you? And is that your fault? I don't know. But this season, we're going to be talking about weird topics kind of like this. I'm going to throw in some C theories. But what do you think? What do you think needs to end in your life? What do you think is an ending for you? I'm going to talk about, I call it finish line syndrome. And there's I don't know what the actual term is, if there is an actual term. But what I call finish line syndrome is that if you have your goals set, and you know how you're going to get there and everything, and you keep going, you go, and you're about to complete your goal, and then you realize that once you complete your goal, there's nothing else that you kind of have to look forward to. So instead of actually completing your goal, you hold back because you don't know what to do after you complete that goal. And that's something that has stuck with me and I've thought about for a while. I don't know, I'm getting like a little bit deeper than usual in this episode, but it's the start of the season. We want something deep. We want something to kind of pick at. We want something that you want to stop and be like, right? Even like at work, I usually do a question of the day when I'm bored, because I like I like just seeing how people think, and then also I like doing something where just work could be boring, or work could be an everyday thing where someone could be like, oh yeah, at work my boss asked me this weird question, and then after it really made me think, so I'm sharing this. Right? That's what actually inspired the Living Life episode, or even the question, are you surviving or are you living life? Right? It just came from a small conversation, and a small conversation could change something. It could help you realize that not everything's your fault and not everything's in your control, and sometimes bad things have to happen to people so that they could become their true selves, or become a truer version of themselves. But anyways, this episode is coming to an end, and it is also not your fault. It's my fault because I'm tired. I wanted to do this before I slept, but I've been up, and then my spirit just woke me up, and it's just like, you're not going to have a framework for a complete episode and then go goldfish brain and completely forget about the episode. So what's happened for like the past 4 days, I've had episodes lined up, and then I'd be at work and I'd write nothing down, and then plop, it's gone. Or I'd be thinking about it in the morning, and then after, plop, it's gone, like after a shower or whatever. So now, anytime I'm inspired, I just turn on the mic if I can turn on the mic, or even do like voice notes. I think I'm gonna start doing voice notes and stuff. But anyways, hopefully you guys like this episode. Make sure you add interaction to the episode. If you've watched the whole episode through, leave a 5 in the comment, because we're representing the 5 views gang. That's all the OGs to the podcast when I was just getting only 5 views, but recently we've been hitting that YouTube algorithm, so I'm trying to post more content in general, because a lot of the episodes were getting caught in the recommendations, right? So I guess the info or even the topics that I'm talking about is pretty awesome, to the point that YouTube's like, hey, your content isn't so wild. We're going to share this with people, and people are clicking it. So hopefully you guys do share this episode. I'm going to probably post a poll so that you guys could maybe choose the next topic for me to talk on. But I do have a couple of concepts in mind, even with the poll, where a majority of you guys got tricked and didn't think that it would be this. I might actually talk about the other topics that I posted, but this is the one that we're going to start with. We're going to start with endings, because for every ending, there is a beginning, and the ending of this episode is just the start of a new season. Anyways, take care.